January 6th.
All right. So welcome to the Combatcast. And as you heard, there's no fights on January 6th.
Nope.
Chevy, why don't you tell people what we got coming up?
All right. Well, next week, December 22nd, we're going to be doing the wrap-up show for the end of the year, 2023. And then the week after that, December 29th, we're going to be doing a preview show for next year, 2024. And then January 6th, there's no fight. So we're not sure what we're doing yet. You know, we might take a week off. We'll see. There's not going to have been any fights for a while, so we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not going to be upset about taking a week off. Hell, we took a week off from this weekend. We got busy. That was a late card in Asia. Plus, I was at Bridgeport, Connecticut for WWE's NXT. But Song Ladong, impressive, victorious. I'll throw you a curveball here. What do you do with this guy next?
I don't know. He's got to fight. I think at this point, he's got to be top 3 guys somewhere up there. You know, he's got to be in the mix for one more maybe, and then a title shot depending on the outcome of that. But you know, he already fought Corey, and Corey it's just jammed up at that division for sure.
Yeah, bantamweight is crazy. I mean, he's another one. I think you could do an interesting fight with like Jan or something like that.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, he was supposed to fight Peter Jan, so maybe you just rematch that one.
I would be down with that. And the other big fight out of that we thought was Khalil Roundtree, looking impressive with Anthony Smith. He wants big fights. Maybe he could fight the winner or loser of next week's card with Walker and Goliath.
Yeah, that'd be good. You know, he called for a fight with Pereira, said that that's what the people want. I don't know what people want that, but I would certainly watch that fight.
That's entertaining stylistically. I'd love to definitely see
He's
that.
got 5 in a row, or 5 or 6 in a row now. So, yeah, one more and then a title fight, I think.
Definitely possible, for sure. All right, man. We are dealing with a stacked UFC 296 this weekend. And we were talking about, we're going to preview the main card here, but there's some fights on this undercard too that are got your attention, I'd imagine.
Yeah, even on the early prelims, you have like Alonzo Menafield and Dustin Jacoby fighting. But on the regular prelims, keep an eye out for Cody Garbrandt versus Brian Kelleher. That's great matchmaking for sure. Josh Emmett versus Bryce Mitchell also. Mm-hmm. Looking forward to that one.
Yeah, for sure. Emmett and Mitchell. You have Hank 12-3, one more curveball. Who are you picking there?
Short notice for Bryce, right? So yeah. I think I'm gonna go with Emmett.
It is tough. I think Emmett's though stylistically, he's got the wrestling where
and
Bryce
power.
is right. And well, that's what I was gonna say. And then he's got that power in his punching, where I think stylistically he's going to be an interesting matchup for Bryce, especially on short notice.
Yeah, Bryce is tough, but I don't see him, you know, unless Josh fudges a takedown or something, I don't see him giving up his back. And in a striking match, Josh is definitely going to put it on him, I think.
For sure. All right, let's get to it. UFC 296 main card.
All right, Vicente Lucque versus Ian Machado Gerry.
All right, this is a great one. Ian Gerry, 13-0, 7 KOs, 1 sub, 5 decisions, undefeated in the UFC. You know, 6-0 in the UFC already. Vicente Lucque, clearly his toughest opponent, though. You know, I think you could say, you know, he's tougher than Magny or some of the other guys that Gary's fought for sure. Lucque, 22-9-1, 11 KOs, 8 subs, only 3 decisions by, you know, victory by decision. So this guy is a finisher for sure. He's beaten guys like Chiesa, Woodley, RDA, just most recently, very impressive with a performance over RDA. There's some personal stuff going around right now too with Ian Gerry, and Sean Strickland's been talking at him, and Gary's been kind of uncharacteristically seems uncomfortable about it. Talking. I only bring this up because I wonder if it's going to affect this fight. And this is, I think, his toughest matchup. I'm going to go Lucque here. I think Lucque is going to be a tough matchup for him. I think Gary's super strong and super tough, and I think he's durable, so I think it's going to go to decision, and this will be a Lucque decision win. But I'm going to go Vicente.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that people might be sleeping on Luque. I certainly think Ian Gerry is. I haven't heard him talk about Luque at all. Um, Everything that's surrounding him is this talk with Sean Strickland
Right.
and Ian Gary's wife and her ex-husband and whatever else is going on with that. I was a fan of Gerry, but he's been making it very difficult lately, and I think he's primed to get his first loss here. So it's possible that he just stays at range and doesn't get taken down. And he can hurt Luque on the feet at range, but I think it's more likely that Luque does get inside, hurts Ian while he's distracted or something, hurts him and jumps on a sub. So I think I'm going to go with round 3 sub for Luque.
Okay. And by the way, I also think when I say this big opportunity, Gerry could learn from this fight too if he loses it. I just feel like this guy's still got a lot of up potential. But yeah, just the way everything's going towards this fight right now and this being his toughest fight, I just smell, his first loss.
But if he does come away with a victory with all this distraction going on around him, he's superstar material for sure.
For sure. No doubt.
All right, let's get into the next one. I am simultaneously very excited and nervous for this one. So Tony Ferguson versus Paddy Pimblett.
Tony Ferguson's a legend. I mean, we don't even really know, go over it. 25-9, 12 KOs, 8 subs, 5 decisions, but 25-9, 6 losses in a row right there. That's the big story in this. Paddy Pimblett, 20-3, 6 KOs, 9 subs, 5 decisions, 4-0 in the UFC, but he has not fought even close to the caliber of Tony Ferguson, which makes this such a unique fight. I don't know. I'm going to assume Paddy's the favorite just because Ferguson had so many losses in a row. I'm kind of going to lean towards Paddy here because I hate to say it, Tony's if you look at that fight with Bobby Green and stuff too, it just seems like Tony's finding almost ways to lose at this point because he just, he's just not at that point in his career. I am not going to be shocked at all if Tony Ferguson pulls off a submission here, though, somehow, or gets a win. Because Paddy, to me, is still a very unproven commodity. And even his victories that were impressive, he gets hit a lot. So, yeah, I can see this going anyway, but I'm going to go with Paddy. And I'm going to say it's a 3rd-round finish, almost similar to the Bobby Green fight.
Yeah, I don't hate Paddy like a lot of people seem to lately, but I'm definitely rooting for Tony in this one. I'm not sure if the David Goggins training is good for him physically, but I know that it's good for him mentally, just to know that he's basically unbreakable because there's nothing in there that Paddy Pimblett's going to be able to do that's going to be worse than what David Goggins did to him for sure. So I'm hoping that Tony can be durable enough to pressure and frustrate Paddy and hopefully lock up a Darce. Paddy very good on the ground, so I think it's more likely that it's a decision win. I'm going to pick Tony. I won't be upset either way, but I just don't really want to see Tony lose again.
Yeah, I mean, part of my gut wants to pick Tony, and I'm just ignoring it because I'm like, he's not going to win, right? I mean, that's because, but at the same time, I could see a Darce choke or something happening here. I don't know. I mean,
so the thing about this fight is Paddy, very wild. He's very risky in all of his fights. Obviously, It's worked out for him. He has a great chin. He's great in those scrambles when it goes to grappling and all these wild exchanges. But that is where Tony made his entire career too. So I think, he knows mentally where he's at this point. And I think that, hopefully one last hurrah, good matchup stylistically for him and he can get it done.
I definitely feel like this undercard has some of the old guard versus some of the new blood coming up here when you look at some of these fights.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking about that, this next fight, upcomer Shavkat Rakhmonov versus legend Stephen Wonderboy Thompson.
Rakhmonov is 17-0, 8 KOs, 9 subs, 5-0 in UFC, all finishes. This guy will submit you or he will finish you. Stephen Thompson certainly is going to be his toughest opponent to date. 17-6-1, 8 KOs, 1 sub, 8 decisions. I love me some Wonderboy Thompson. I will be rooting for him. He's one of those old guards that I want to see maybe get one more title fight and somehow pull it off. But I don't like this matchup for him at all. This guy, Rakhmonov, is a young, hungry, nasty finisher. And I'm going to go Shavkat. I hope to God I'm wrong. I'm going to say he's going to man, I have trouble. I don't remember Wonderboy ever tapping out. That's the only thing. But I keep thinking.
Did Gilbert Burns get him or something? I can't remember.
Maybe.
I think he just got on top of him and beat him up. I don't think he's ever been submitted.
Yeah, I'll go with TKO round 2.
I think if Shavkat goes all in on grappling, he can get the decision win over Wonderboy pretty easily. But I think that it's more likely that he tries to strike with him. Shavkat full of confidence. And I think maybe that could be a liability in this situation where he doesn't respect Wonderboy's striking ability. So I'm on the Shavkat bandwagon for sure. But after his fight with Jeff Neal, I have to pick Wonderboy in a striking match. I think that's what we're going to get. So I'm going to say decision for Thompson.
All right. And in a rare case, I will actually reverse my decision because I think you're right. It is going to be a striking matchup. And if it's going to be a striking match, I can't go against Wonderboy. So, all right, Wonderboy Thompson, round 2 TKO for him then because it's going to be fireworks. All right,
this next one is excellent matchmaking. It's flying under the radar because this card is so big, but flyweight belt on the line. Alexander Pantoja versus Brandon Royval.
All right, Pantoja's the champion, 26-6, 8 KOs, 10 subs, 8 decision. He has a win over Royval already by sub in round 2. But Royval, 15-6, 5 KOs, 8 subs, 2 decisions. I got to tell you, I'm favoring the champion here, and because he has that win, but Royval has all the tools to pull this off. This flyweight division, and I don't mean this as an insult, we're long away from the days of Mighty Mouse dominating this division. Everybody is so good. It's like that football expression on any given Sunday. Somebody can pull this off. And I don't think this is any different. I'm going to lean towards Pantoja. I'm going to say it's a decision this time. I think it's going to be a hell of a fight with a lot of crazy scrambles.
Jesus, this one's hard to call. I like your any given Sunday reference because in my notes, I said I honestly think it could go either way on any given night in the octagon. So I'm going to go with Pantoja because, like you said, he had that win over Brandon already. And I know that Royval has improved a lot since then, but so is Pantoja. Plus, Teddy Atlas says when you get that belt, you get that 30% increase in skill. And I think that's what we're going to get. So I'm going to go with Pantoja. I think he gets another second round sub.
Yeah, no doubt. I could see that. And like you said, anybody's ball game. We'll see what happens. But main event time.
All right, main event for the welterweight belt. Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington.
All right. Leon Edwards, the champion. He's 21-3-1, 7 KOs, 3 subs, 11 decisions. Hasn't lost since 2015. All right. And that loss was to Kamaru Usman, the champ at the time. Well, who ended up being the champ. And Edwards won the title from Usman with a come from behind victory, but then defeated him by decision in a fight that he looked, just like Teddy Atlas would say, about 30% improved. So we shall see here. Colby Covington, 17-3, 4 KOs, 4 subs, 9 decisions. A lot of people talk about Colby hasn't really beat a lot of top-ranked guys in a long time, but we know he's had super competitive fights with Kamaru Usman. Other than Edwards, he was Usman's toughest challenge. Stylistically, I've heard some people thought that, maybe me in the past too, that, the volume of Colby, because he's maybe more volume than Usman, could be a problem. Maybe. But the more I think about it, Colby doesn't have that power that Usman had too, though. So I don't know if he's going to be able to take out Edwards. And Edwards was able to hold his own, getting taken down from Usman. So I would think he should be able to do it with Colby. Now, that being said, this has been a weird year for the UFC. You know, Sean O'Malley, Sean Strickland, all champions. And I would not be shocked. Every decision I'm making here tonight, I feel I could go the opposite way. I don't usually feel this strongly, but this card is definitely got a lot of fights that can go either way. I'm going to go with Edwards. I'm going to say he gets it done. I might say even he gets around 3 or 4 finish too. Colby also hasn't been active, and I do wonder if that's going to play a factor. And I'm having flashbacks to that first Usman fight where Usman finished him late in the fight. You know, late in the 5th round.
Broke his jaw, yeah.
His jaw, yeah. We'll see. I'm going to go Edwards. I'll go round 4, TKO, maybe a head kick.
Yeah, I'm just going to be 100% honest. As much as I don't like Colby, I understand his shtick, like, is a character to make money. Leon is just an unlikable personality. All the respect to his fighting skills and what he did to Kamaru, but defending the belt once in a year, and then he's been talking about going up to fight. That drives me crazy. I hate that so much. I hate that everyone, as soon as they get a belt, is trying to go up and get another belt. So shout out to like Izzy for when he, cleaned out the division and then stayed in the division. Yeah, he went up to try to get that belt after he was already champion for a while. Shout out to Kamaru, who dominated the division for a while. Shout out to Volkanovski, still fights in his division while he's trying to go up and get the belt. So I respect those, but these people that win a belt and want to defend it once and then go for a legacy fight drives me fucking crazy. So fuck Leon Edwards. I hope that Colby wrestle fucks him all night long. I think he's going to pressure him up against the cage. And yeah, he doesn't have a lot of power, but he's going to put so much volume and just pressure. And Leon was dead tired in that fight against Kamaru, the first one. He had quit as much as John Anik said that's not the cloth he's cut from. He landed a lucky head kick, and then he was confident going into that second fight with Kamaru. Colby's going to test his will to be in there for sure. And I think if anyone's going to break him, I'm not saying he's easy person to break or anything. He's confident because he has the belt, but if he can be broken, Colby's going to be the one to push him to that point. So, it's funny that you mentioned the Strickland and Sean O'Malley thing. We don't talk about our notes before these shows, obviously, but I have that in my notes as well. I hope Colby wins so we can have a year of chaos. Just fucking throw it into the fire. We got Colby, we got Strickland, we got O'Malley, all as champions. Not a big fan of any of those guys, but it's going to be a fun year, I think. So I'm going to pick Colby by decision. If he loses, I don't care, but I just don't really like Leon Edwards at this point.
It's Colby chaos too. By the way, how mad will the MMA community be that if this card happens, that Paddy Pimblett,
my God,
Ian Gerry, and Colby Covington are all walking out like victorious, which is extremely possible, by the way.
You know what I really hope happens in this fight is I hope that for some reason Colby doesn't make it to the fight. Bilal Muhammad is the rightful person to be getting this title shot, and he is weighing in as a backup. And Leon has been ducking him since he poked him in the eye in the first round of their fight last time. So I think that Bilal's a bad matchup for Leon. And so I hope we see that fight. So if Leon is to win this against Colby, Bilal needs to be next.
Yeah, I can see that. And I mean, I definitely agree Bilal should be next, but I will tell you this. The winner of that Shavkat Stephen Thompson fight could very well be like right there too. I mean, if there's an injury,
take a seat. Bilal's up next.
I'm saying if there's an injury or something, don't be surprised, because they love Wonder Boy, which we all do. And stylistically, that's a fight we haven't seen Leon fight in a while. And obviously Shavkat if he comes there and does the domination and, destroys Wonder Boy, then, he's another guy they might try to push to the moon. But I do agree. I can't disagree. Bilal Muhammad is clearly the guy who deserves to be fighting for the championship. And I hope we definitely get that next.
Yeah.
But, yeah. All right. One more time. Tell me.
All right. December 22nd, 2023 wrap-up show. We're looking forward to that. And then December 29th, we'll be doing a preview show of what we're looking forward to in the upcoming year.